So today it is Thanksgiving week, and with as fast as this year has gone, what I would like to do is go through my goals that I had for this year and see how I've done. As I looked back over my goals that I had written out at the beginning of the year, I realized that I've actually grown in a lot of them, even though it hasn't gone the way that I thought it would. First, I guess I want to talk through one goal that we did not meet. We had the goal of running at least 2 half marathons this year. We did not complete that goal. We haven't even gone on family walks the way we've done for years. We just haven't been outdoors in that way. But here's what my goals were. Skills I want to systematically pursue: writing, fiction, grants, resume writing, and doctrinal writing. One thing I haven't done for sure is doctrinal writing, but the others I have done. I have worked on resumes. I have started picking back up business writing and formal writing. I'm thinking through whether or not that's something that I'd like to do as like a freelance type writer, because I really enjoy technical and business writing, and doing it again has been really enjoyable for me. I have not done much fiction writing at all. I have had some ideas, and I can tell that the fire of it is coming back in my heart again. I have taken my writing to our local Christian writers group. Every month I am printing out and taking to the group things that I want feedback about, and that has proved really fruitful the last few months, and so I'm going to keep that up. So on number 1, I think systematically pursued some writing skills. Homesteading. I wanted to take up quilting, and then I wanted to get better at embroidery and knitting. I think I embroidered one thing this year. I don't think I've done any of the others. Baking, cooking, pretty pie making, and coffee roasting. Doug's done a lot of coffee roasting. I haven't done any of those things. I had this whole board on Pinterest with beautiful pies where people do all these artistry on pie crust, and I just had a vision for that. I didn't get that done this year. But this one I did do. This one is part of homesteading. Animal husbandry, raising chicks, breeding, selling eggs, and I put pigs ? Goats ? Out of those 5, I just didn't do goats, which I'm glad about. Goats are naughty, and I have enough naughtiness in my life, so I did not need goats. But I have done animal husbandry. I've grown a lot in that, I think. I've developed skills in dealing with chickens, broody hens, raising chicks. We've done 4 batches this year of chicks that we raised. Breeding. We did raise our own chicks that were from our own roosters and hens. And then selling eggs, we did a lot of that. I mean, I've probably made several $100s this year just from selling eggs. And then pigs, we bought them, and we now have the 4 of them, and maybe reproducing soon. So that's exciting. I did a lot on that. The third one that I wrote down was relational skills, and under that I put gracious when offended, humility, kindness, encouraging others, more organized so that less things slip through the cracks, and self-discipline with games, activity, and social media. Gracious when offended. I don't know. Maybe Doug would be able to weigh in on that. Humility, I think I have. I mean, by that, I mean, I see things where God is humbling me, especially in regards to parenting and teenagers. And I just can tell that I'm more aware than I was a year ago of my own limitations and my own lack. And I'm really grateful for that. I want to have a humble posture toward the world, and a learner's posture, and also just a posture that doesn't know. In my early years of life, I learned to cope with being small and being nerdy and being younger than everyone in my class by knowing a lot of stuff. And I'm learning to get okay with not knowing all the stuff and just being a normal human. And I think I have grown in that this year. Kindness, I don't know if I've grown in it, but I'm working on it. I want to be kind, especially toward my children. That's where I'm apt to not be kind, is to just let my hair down and say what I think and not correct with kindness and not request with kindness, but just to like say how it's going to be. And so I want to grow in that. And I think I am. Encouraging others. We've made strides with that this year, I think. More organized with less things slipping through the cracks. Yeah, I do think so. We have continued in our family's habit of getting rid of a lot of stuff. I've said this before, but I'll say it again for those of you who have larger families. I can't declutter fast enough. No matter how much I get rid of, there's 10 other people bringing stuff into my door. Like yesterday, the lady tried to hand me a Sunday school sheet, and I just said, thanks, but no thanks. Like my 2-year-old, my 3-year-old, they don't need coloring sheets. We're good. I do not need even one extra piece of paper in my life. So we're constantly decluttering, and yet even still more comes in than I can deal with. So when I look at my house and I think, there's less stuff falling through the cracks, I think we are better on chores this year than we've ever been. I think my kids are more responsible than they've ever been. I think I'm more responsible. I think we're tackling the world with greater and greater purposefulness and better use of our time. Self-discipline. This is probably the one that has suffered the most during COVID, because I was doing better and then I started watching all the Trump briefings, and I think that slipped me back into the habit of watching too many videos, playing too many video games. And so I've used things like vlogging to wean me off of just zoning out, but I'm still in that pattern way more than I would like to be. I am getting okay with the idea that I think people from every century and millennia have had times where there's downtime. For example, if you're a shepherd, at some point your sheep are just standing around eating, and you lay down and you take a nap, or you look up at the clouds and you just ponder the meaning of life. That's one example. Another one would be a mother out on the prairie who has done her scrubbing for the day, dinner's in the pot, cooking over the fire, and she goes out to hang laundry, and the kids are out playing in the woods and whatever. She's staring off into the distance thinking about things. The truth is, I think every generation not only has, but needs time when your brain is not devoted to a particular thing, so that you're free to think and analyze and pay attention to what's happening and ponder what you might do differently. And so mentally, I'm okay with some mental quiet where you're not purposefully just running nonstop. But I'm really trying to limit how much I do of that, and I'm trying to be really mindful of how long I'm playing games or that kind of thing. I've basically stopped scrolling on Facebook. I do think that's happened this year. But that's how I think I've done this year. This last year, I had this planner. It was Grace laced. I got to meet her last year, my friend Sarah Dees, who I've mentioned, and actually her kids were on this vlog once, but she writes Lego books, and she and Ruth know each other, and so we went to a book signing for Ruth Cho Simons, and I bought this because I needed a planner. And I have loved it. I've loved all the beautiful, like she has these lovely verses and sayings that are drawn in here. She also has this gratitude list each month, so that as I go through the month, I can write out what happened that month. And then when I get to the end of the month, I see the list and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that happened. Oh, that was so good. I'm so thankful. And so it does stir up thankfulness in my heart. So I have enjoyed this. However, one thing I have not liked about it, you can see, is I really need a spiral bound planner. I stuffed too many things in the sides. You just saw a receipt fly off that way probably. But I stuffed too many things in the sides. I put my little receipts or things I need to keep up with, tax documents, notes about groceries and what we need to get, or an upcoming plan. And so I loved this part of this planner, but I did not love the binding. And so for this coming year, I've actually asked my daughter, who does a lot of drawing and graphic font type work, to make me a journal. So I bought the materials, and I'm going to pay her and use her journal this year for my planning. But I have really loved looking back at these goals and seeing that even though this was a really weird year, I did accomplish some of them, and some of them I got way better at. Like animal husbandry was something that, we started out the year not knowing that COVID-19 was coming, but very soon it came, and all of a sudden, milk cows, the price went through the roof, and nobody could find baby chicks, and people started thinking about, oh, could I raise my own chickens, or what should we do for kind of food security? And I actually already had those goals in my mind, and had, the flock of, like, back then 20 or 30 chickens to go ahead and tackle some of these things. And so it was really encouraging to see that that was something that I set out at the beginning of the year to do, and that I did. So how did you do with this year? How had you set any goals for the year? Have you met them? I hope you have a great year. At the end of each year, I find that it's a really nice time to reflect on what went well, to look back and be grateful, and to look back at the things that we didn't accomplish, and see, is it worth carrying that goal over? Is that still a goal that I have for this coming year, or have my priorities shifted? I haven't yet sat down to think through what my goals for 2021 will be, but from what I can tell right now, I want to grow in business skills, understanding accounting, business finance, business writing, grant writing, maybe even resume editing. That might be something that I really could add as a side business. Those are skills that I'm eager to grow in this coming year. And I think this next year I've already got 2 different series, fiction series mapped out a little bit in my head, and I need to start getting them out on paper, and then possibly tackle those this coming year, or at least one of them. So those are some of my goals, but I haven't solidified them yet. That's just off of the top of my head. I know I want to grow in those things. I'm also going to be releasing my first adult into the world fully. He's going off to boot camp at the beginning of 2021. And so that's a whole set of things I'm going to need to learn and grow into as well. So, yeah. 2020 for me has been a great year in a lot of ways. It's been a hard year, but I love election season. And I feel like my heart has gone through a lot of healing and quieting over the last year. And so I'm really grateful for that. I'm really thankful for what God has done this year, and excited to see what is in store for 2021.
Mommy, babe. Okay, now we can go. Where is that piece?
Can you get it with me? Can you help me?
Good job, Dusty. You're a strong boy.
You're wasting your time, not making friends. You don't understand, where did they all go? Now what you have to say, stuff I already know. Cause someone flipped himself and is talking you through. So don't feel alone.
Dang it, I hate that. That's, I think, the 4th time I've had to put my shovel on a chicken's neck because Django has attacked it. And on the one side, I hate that. On the other side of it, he's just a dog with instincts. he's doing what he knows to do. And the chickens stupidly get up on the fence right near his cage. So it's very discouraging that I have to kill my own chickens, but they've been roosting right up there on that fence post, and that is just stupid because of course he's gonna jump up and try to grab them. So I've just lost another chicken, which stinks. Hey Panda. Hi there, sweet boy. This right here is one of the chicks that we raised this summer. It's kind of hard to believe.
Short life.
Crazy, huh? Just about the time she started laying eggs, Django got her. Disappointing.
Yeah, it's been a few months with a few eggs.
Oh, I gotta deal with that in a little while. Lately, whenever a chicken has been killed, I've been cutting it up, which is not great, not fun, especially because those were our little chicks, but it's better than letting the meat go to waste. So this afternoon, that's something I'll do.